Welcome back to Loftus Road. I'm joined once again by Andy Sinton as we'll take a look back at the trip to Watford, we'll overview of the Sky Bet Championship as a whole last weekend, while also previewing our trip to Cardiff City. This is the Rangers Report. So since you don't have your usual nice smile, how was your weekend?
Not great, to be honest. After Saturday, I think when you see your team play, that dictates your mood for the rest of the week. And so as you can gather, probably along with everyone else connected with QPR, wasn't a good one. I'm
sure as everyone from a QPR persuasion left Vicarage Road, they had their own thoughts and opinions on the game. What was your take, your professional view on it?
Well, first of all, it's a hugely disappointing result and performance opening day of the season. Compounded having lost heavily the week before. So it was hugely disappointing. Let's be brutally honest and frank. We were comprehensively beaten. Could have been more scoreline if you look at the 4 goals they scored. Ladge had scored just before half time when he goes clean through and lobs the keeper but puts it over the bar. Esmia's had 7, 8, 9 saves to make, most of them routine, but he's been overly worked. They've hit the bar, so it could have been a lot worse. So as I said, when you asked me the question, hugely disappointed to start the season in such a manner.
And from it, is it a case of Gareth Ainsworth in his interview after the game highlighted that Watford were a very good side and will be thereabouts at the end of the season? Is that something from that game in particular you sort of thought? Obviously, it's Valérien Ismail's first game in charge of the Hornets. Yeah,
well, you look at Watford and it's probably hard to tell in the first game, but they did look very impressive. But I'm trying to temper that a little bit by did we make them look so good? And it probably pains me to say that, but you look forward to the new season. You go to Watford, they've got a new coach or manager, lots of new players, a big turnaround of players, but their starting 11 was pretty much what they had here last year, when they, in my opinion, underperformed. But yeah, they on the day, sometimes you hold your hands up, they were miles better than us, miles sharper, miles quicker. Listen, it doesn't help when you concede after 35 seconds, but that's, again, I think that's down to us. I thought it was a dreadful goal to concede so early in a game, so early in a new season. You go anywhere, any game, you have to start the game solid. Dressing rooms I've always been in, and it shouldn't change, away from home, first 10 minutes, we give nothing away, we keep nice and tight, we're solid, we don't give big spaces for the opposition to play in. Well, all of that we didn't do. Then your game plan goes out the window. Now we could talk about the first half till we're blue in the face. 35 seconds, we're 1 down, and let's face it, it didn't get any better. So yeah, hugely disappointing.
And after pre-season, you have the big build-up back when you're pulling on the blue and white hoops for Rangers. What would your feeling be after pre-season, after the first game, after pre-season? I'm sure you've been in occasions where you've been very disappointed, or that holiday was a bit too good, I enjoyed that a bit too much, or on the opposite, you were like, I've worked really hard, we deserve that win.
I think we sat here a week ago and we talk about pre-season. After the last game of the pre-season, I personally, and I know players I played with and managers I played for, wanted to know that we were ready. Wanted to know we were ready, and I think that was the disappointment of the Oxford game. It would have probably thrown up some too many questions. So it leads into a week going into Watford where you're building on your pre-season work, but you've just come off for a heavy defeat. It puts you on a little bit of a downer. So I would look at my last pre-season game. Am I ready? I wouldn't need anyone to tell me. I wouldn't need coaches, statistics, anything. I would know from my last game of how I've played. I would take that into my last. I would always look forward to a new season. Always look forward to the new season. It's fresh. You you're excited, but you've got a little bit of apprehension, you've got a bit of nerves because you don't know which way it's going to go, and you don't know. The season doesn't settle down until 6-8 games in truth, where you really find your real rhythm. But you have to know that you're ready, you're physically fit, you've done your yards, you've done your training, and you feel good about yourself. So after the first game of the season, I always just to sit in the car or get home and analyse the game, my own performance, what I had done well, what I hadn't done well, where I needed to improve, how did I feel, and I'm sure everyone does the same. But I think after what we saw on Saturday, as I say, the players will be hugely disappointed in the showing that they gave.
I mean, as a QPR fan, I'm sure everyone does, they love a bit of a nostalgia. So if we throw it back to 92 and you had that first game on Monday Night Football, famous Andy Sinton goal, what was said in the training ground after that performance? Was it, all right, you did well, but you got a game on Saturday? Because it was a very quick turnaround as well. Again,
leading up to that, we were told we're playing on a Monday night, which there was a little bit of resentment against, certainly from Jerry, the manager, because our schedule then meant we were in Manchester on a Monday, back here to play Southampton on a Wednesday. We're back at 2-3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday morning, playing on a Wednesday night. Then we had Sheffield United here on a Saturday and Coventry away the following Tuesday. But you can look at things, you can put negatives on things, or you can just embrace what you've got. Those 4 games, we had 10 points. We had 10 points.
What's said in between them games? Is it a reflection on pre-season?
No, it's a reflection. Pre-season's pre-season. You don't hark back to games in pre-season. Once the season starts, you don't hark back. That's why I'm saying, for me, pre-season's really important. You get all that done then. That's why you need to know you're ready. You're ready for the opening game of the season. Then you reflect on the Man City. Yeah, good point. Could we have got 3? And you come back here. Let's get at Southampton. Let's get the crowd with us. We won that game quite comfortably, played really well. Won here, scored another 3 goals on the Saturday. Then go to Coventry and Imps, and the Impy scores a goal after 4 games. Doesn't really matter after 4 games, but it reflects on the start, put us top of the Premier League. So
just to link it to Gareth Ainsworth and the current squad, what would they be saying now at Heston ahead of the trip to Cardiff on?
Well, I would like to know there would have been a few things said after the game straight away, at half time and straight after the game. Monday they would have been together. I'm sure they would have looked at the game, the goals, how they came about, the general performance. Then you have to go, right, we need a response. We need a reaction individually. Then we get to work immediately on the training ground. And I say hard work. That doesn't mean running you into the ground and flogging you. I mean hard work and organisation individually, understanding of your roles and responsibilities. Then you've got to take that into the weekend and into the game.
What was a difficult week? There was, as a nation, something to smile about with the Lionesses' victory. We saw Chloe Kelly, that obviously has the association with QPR earlier in her career. She got the spot kick. She's good for the big lights, isn't she? She's a name for the big occasion.
Yeah, well done to Chloe, but also well done to the whole setup, the England Lionesses. Had to really dig deep. Yesterday weren't at the best by any stretch of the imagination, but like any good team, they found a way. They were up against a really good, powerful side. Went down to 10 players, and had to do that a little bit extra. And I say you just have to find a way, and they did it. Spot kick. Chloe was given the all important one to send you through. You look at her, the camera pens in on her. She looks totally composed. She looks like she knows exactly what she's going to do. She trusts the process. She's obviously been through with a thought process and backs her technique and strikes a penalty and sends us through. And can we go on and progress even further? And can we bring it home? I think we can.
What goes through your mind when you walk up to take a spot kick like that? What are you thinking as a player? Hit it?
Well, I've took a few. I never had one of that magnitude. Certainly for my country. I didn't take one for my country. Took a couple for QPR. I used to take them in shootouts. I took a couple in league games. I think, you've got to be confident in yourself. I think you make your mind up. You should have done your practice. You know what you're going to do. And I think the most important part the penalty, not the most important part, but a vital part of that penalty is the walk that you do from the halfway line, because that's when your mind can play tricks. I think that's when you have somehow got to block everything out and just rely on your technique, your own ability, and stick to the positive thoughts that go through your mind leading up to that, and you've just got to go and do it. And it was a great penalty, and as I say, wish them well now.
If we reflect back to the Sky Bet Championship, the first weekend, who was your sort of standout teams, or any players in particular, or anything that you sort of have taken away from that weekend going ahead to the next
Well, again,
weekend?
I'll say, you look forward to the new season starting. I watched the game on Friday night. The off, one of my old clubs, Sheffield Wednesday, how are they going to do? Haven't been promoted, against one of the relegated sides, Southampton. Got bags of quality. Really impressed with us, Southampton. Certainly in the first half, under a new coach, Russell Martin. He's got his way of playing, very possession based. I thought they were really good first half. Had to withstand a bit from Sheffield late on, but I thought the way they saw the game out, by retaining possession of the ball, not running the clock down as such, but having the ball where Sheffield Wednesday couldn't get near them. So I thought they were impressive. Leicester, everyone's tipped to probably win the league and bounce straight back up. Had to come from behind, but they've got
the
quality.
squad depth that they had,
quality and depth. Sometimes games can be won from the bench. But they've got quality, so that was
highlight them Coventry, who they played,
and they played a good side, Coventry.
Yeah, a disappointing end to last season, but it was a good year for them overall.
Yeah, they
signed a lot of.
They looked a really good side on the day. They've sold what I thought was the best striker in the league last year, Gigoris, but looked like they recruited really well. And on the day, they'll feel very unlucky not to get something from the game. So they were impressive. And you look at Leeds, another relegated side, 2-0 down against our next opponents, Cardiff, who I thought were really good in the first half. But Leeds, great character, great energy and belief to get back into the game, again with a new coach in charge. So I looked at those three. Then you look the teams who come up, Sheffield, Plymouth,
Ipswich.
And Ipswich. Ipswich, I think, will surprise quite a few people. Under Kieran McKenna, done ever so well, playing a really good way.
And they play quite a strong Sunderland team as well. And Stadium Alight, first game, you're not really wanting to go there when you see the fixtures. It's not really going to be your first choice, is it? But
there's no mean feat to go there. Big crowd. Sunderland looking to go one better than what they did last year. So for Ipswich to go there and win was probably, for me, the standout result of the weekend in the circumstances. So yeah, Plymouth, another big club, well supported. They got off to a good start. They've done well.
In the Sinton household, is it football, or do you have a bit of a break after?
I have a bit of a break. I tend to pick and choose a little bit. I can't just sit all day, every day watching it. But sometimes I won't watch a game live, but I'll pick up the highlights and pick out bits of it. But what I would say about the league this year, to me, it looks stronger. The three teams have come down. They'll be strong. The three that have came up in their own right are all big clubs, really. Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth, and Ipswich. Then you've got the ones who were close last year, the Middlesbroughs, the Norwiches of this world, West Brom, who got beat at the weekend. Millwall, another fantastic result up in Middlesbrough, are always there or thereabouts. So Bristol City, I think, are going to be stronger than what they were last year. So no, the league to me looks stronger than what it was last year.
We mentioned Ipswich. Obviously, we have them here in a couple of weeks here at Loftus Road. It'll be an exciting game because they like to play under Kieran McKenna, very attractive football, and obviously we saw that at Sunderland and on counter-attack quite a lot as well. Is that something?
Yeah, as I said, I think they've done ever so well, and I think they will surprise a few this year. I think they'll have a good season. So yeah, our first league game. Hopefully we'll have some points on the board from Cardiff. Hopefully we'll have beaten Norwich in the Cup and progressed to build a little bit momentum and feel good and optimism. So yeah, I know it's a couple of weeks ago. We go one game at a time. But first home game, 2 weeks' time, Ipswich. Looking forward to it.
And you mentioned Leeds, and their opponents at Ellen Road on Sunday was Cardiff, who obviously we travelled to South Wales on Saturday. What was your take on Cardiff? Obviously new manager, few new faces as well. or a returning face as well in Aaron Ramsey, but they sort of shocked Ellen Road, didn't they, in the first?
Yeah, I did watch that game. I was impressed with Cardiff, certainly the first half. I thought it was a really good away performance. You can see the new managers come in, implemented a style. I think they've recruited well. We talk about the league being stronger and teams strengthen. I actually think Cardiff will do better than what they did last year, with what they've recruited, etc. So yeah, they go a goal up, then they go 2-0 up, and Ellen Road's stunned. Leeds have played there enough times, and what the Ellen Road crowd's like. Leeds are going to come out all guns blazing. So Cardiff had to withstand that a little bit, and looked like they had probably just about done enough. So they'll have left there disappointed from being 2-0 up to only get a point. But before the game, I'm sure they would have took that to get a point on the board. But yeah, they've made some good signings, and it will be a tough game down in Wales on Saturday.
What would the impact of someone like Aaron Ramsey coming into the dressing room be for Cardiff? Huge for. So I think he started there, didn't he? At the very start of his career, he's had an absolutely wonderful career. If you look at the places he's played, the amount of games he's played, 80 odd caps for Wales, and the success that he's helped to be a part of with that setup. So that'll be huge. Still what is he? Still only 32, 33, so he's got years ahead of him. Hopefully they'll see. I'm talking about Cardiff now. Hopefully they'll be wanting to see his know-how, expertise, experience rub off on the rest of the squad. And I think that's been a good signing for them, as well as the 4 or 5 others that they pull into the squad. So yeah, tough game for us. So we head there this weekend at Cardiff City Stadium. It's in recent years somewhere we've fared relatively well. This year, what would your sort of expectations be if we head there?
Well, you never know. As I said, you never know. What I do know, whoever you're playing in the Championship, it's a tough game. People might look at certain games when the season's penning out, and someone might be rooted to the bottom and go, "There's not an easy game in the Championship." You have to be ready. You have to be willing to face whatever challenge the opposition throw at you. You have to be prepared on the pitch to come up with solutions to what the opposition throw at you. You have to be creative so you can pick the opposition's weakness and score goals to win games yourself. So yeah, all of that, we need to be ready. We need to dust ourselves down very quickly. Very quickly. We can't have any lingering long faces. We can't have anyone down in the dumps after Saturday. Listen, everyone was, but I'm talking about the players now and the coaching staff. They have to put that behind it quickly, not just put it behind it and forget about it. They have to go, right, we need to learn from this. We need to be better at this, and we have to do all we possibly can as a group, as a 20 squad, the coaching staff, everyone at that training ground this week has got a really important part to play to make sure we go to Cardiff, we perform somewhere near that we can, and we come away with something.
As always, the Rangers fans will be in their numbers travelling down to Cardiff. What would your sort of message to wrap up? What would their message to them be?
I know they're hurting. I know they're frustrated. I speak to some. But yeah, it's early days. Vent your frustration. No one could have been happy with what we saw at the weekend. But you know what? The players might need you to be really behind them and push them forward and give it their all. What I would say about the fans, I think the fans have been absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I've said it time and time again. Should never take that for granted. I will never get tired of saying it. But as I say, we need you. We need our fans. Probably at the minute more than we've ever needed them. So get behind the team.
That's the perfect way to wrap up this week's show. As always, Andy, thank you for joining us. It's been a tough week, but hopefully there'll be brighter things to come and we'll have that smile back once again. This has been the Rangers Report, and come when you are.